Hello, my name is Jimmy, and this is not the Toyota Land Cruiser, but rather its cousin, the Lexus LX600. All new for 2022, this Lexus LX is quite something. I mean, just look at it, such presence. And this model here has the Executive VIP package here in Canada, or the Ultra Luxury package in the US, which means it gets amazing rear seats. But I promise I'll get to that a little bit later. This is the 4th generation LX, still based on the Land Cruiser and shares its platform with the Tundra and Sequoia, but unlike the Tundra and Sequoia, where they've grown over time, the LX stays with the same wheelbase because of this golden ratio of 112 inches. Toyota says this is to make the LX more capable when going off-road. However, how many people is going to be taking this $170,000 SUV off-road? I really don't think they are. But if you're the second or third buyer of this vehicle, so like, 20, 30 years down the line, and you're buying this because, hey, who doesn't want a reliable off-roader? Maybe at that point, you will take it off-road. But let's start off with styling. As it is subjective, you let me know what your thoughts are of the LX in the comments below. But the front end, I really like this kind of domed hood. It serves absolutely no purpose, but it's cool. You got LED headlamps, a big Lexus grille up front. If you're not a fan of the slotted grille, well, you can get the F Sport version. The F Sport does have a different grille, and it does look a little bit more sporty, as much as a 6,000-pound SUV can look sporty. On the side here, this is where we get the 22-inch wheels, bunch of chrome because it is a luxury product, 112-inch wheelbase, which does look kind of short in today's standards. The running boards are integrated onto the body, but unlike a lot of newer luxury vehicles, they don't extend out, which, well, makes them a little bit harder to use. And then around back, I got the roof spoiler on top, LED taillights, and nothing on the bottom. No exhaust pipes, nothing like that. I mean, it looks pretty good overall, I would say, but it is a little bland back here. It doesn't have too much distinction other than this LED light bar, which does band the entire width, which I am a sucker for, but that's really it. It's nothing too crazy about it, but that's good because in 20, 30 years time, when this does become affordable for people like me, I'll be able to pick one up and it won't look out of place. So it's always a good thing. If we take a look at the trunk here, because this is an executive VIP package, I don't get a third row. And because of that, I actually get quite a bit of space. At 41 cubic feet, it's actually not too bad back here. There's plenty of space for everything that you need to throw in here. I mean, really, for an executive VIP vehicle like this, here's a golf bag. That fits, no problem at all. However, unlike some other kind of more executive level type of SUV, you don't have a partition between the cargo area and, well, the main cabin area. So any road noise that's from the back here, you do get it inside. However, it's not that bad. Since there's no third row, I can't show you that, but let's hop into the back seats. All right, the executive VIP back seats. First of all, I'm gonna start at the normal position. Pretty comfortable. I mean, I have just enough headroom. I'm 5'11", and legroom is pretty good, but it gets much, much better. With a press of a button, I can go into full lounge mode, as I will now demonstrate. Front seat folds forward, the back seat goes back and reclines. And there's even an ottoman in front, so I'm able to pull that down and rest my feet on there. This is world-class type of back seat. This is something that no other $170,000 vehicle gives you. And that actually makes this a bargain. It's kind of weird. But it kind of makes this a bargain. At $170,000 a bargain, Jimmy, you're crazy. I know. I hear what you're saying. But in order to get this level of kind of massaging seats, relaxation mode like this, you're spending a lot more money to get something equivalent to this type of experience. But, I mean, to be very honest, most people isn't going to be buying this executive VIP package. And if you buy the regular one, you get a bench seat here and you get a third row, which is definitely more family friendly. Speaking of family friendly, here's a collect link on the driver's side here. I was able to put that here with no real problems, and I have a rearward facing film on the passenger side. Because of how the chairs actually can move about a little bit, the seating placement actually wasn't that bad. However, depending on how you have the rear seat kind of adjusted, it could affect how much room is in the front for your front occupant. You do have shades on the side, which is very nice. But what's weird is I have a shade on the passenger side here, and you get one on the driver, pretty normal, but I get one back here. So when I'm leaning back as, the more favorable passenger in the back here, I get a shade, but whoever's on the driver's side doesn't get that. And whoever's on the driver's side doesn't get as much options as I do, because this seat goes all the way back, so it actually scoots backwards a little bit more. I got the ottoman in front. Yes, you have the driver in front, so I guess you can't fold that down, but still, you just don't get as much space or options on the driver's side. And you know what? To be very honest, if you're going to be driving something like this at 170 grand, you might have some friends. They just kind of left out a little bit, which kind of sucks. But hey, at least I'm comfortable. I'm paying for the vehicle at this point. Why not be comfortable? But I guess I do have to go up front. So let's take a look at that. All right, the driver's seat. Up here is not bad. The leather is really nice. It's supple, it's soft. I get heated and cooled seats as well, but no massaging seats up here. Massaging seats is only for the rear occupants, which is kind of weird. And the rear occupants can control the infotainment, the audio system. They can fully take over all of that stuff, which is, kind of the point. But as a driver, don't you want to listen to your own tunes? They get headphones in the back. Why do they have to control what I listen to? Anyways, in front of me, I got your typical Lexus steering wheel here, but it does have a little bit of wood inside because it is that VIP status. Looks good, actually. It does work well. There's a bunch of buttons on it, which can be a little fiddly, but you'll get used to it in time. Behind that, you get kind of traditional Lexus gauges. It is partial digital in the center with a big tach, speedometer. Everything that you really need is in the center here. And depending on drive modes, it does change the overall theme. It looks good. On the side, you get a voltmeter, your fuel gauge, your temperatures, and that's all kind of that old school Lexus kind of electroluminescent kind of look. It's kind of the same that you get in like the 90s Lexus LS. I like that a lot. Above, you do get a heads-up display that shows you your speed and your tach, which is a little out of place, to be honest, but it doesn't show you much more than that. It does have some warning stuff that does come up, but that's really it. It's a very simple heads-up display. Infotainment, this tacked on infotainment screen is great. It runs the latest Lexus UI, and there's nothing wrong with it. Wireless CarPlay takes up the entire screen, and it just looks really, really good. The only thing is, like I said, it's just tacked on top, whereas the rest feels more incorporated with the LX theme, kind of more that rugged look. The climate control buttons, the mode select, all that, well, it fits the theme of the LX, but that screen does not. There's only so many options that they have to put that screen on top, so I guess this is it, but this looks a little weird. Overall, this is a really nice cabin, even for up front. Yes, it's absolutely magnificent for people in the rear, but not bad up here. You get really nice stitching on the doors here, soft touch materials all over. The headliner is nice and soft as well. You get a bunch of buttons for all of your drive modes, the vehicle height, and a bunch more other things here in the center. The only thing is there's no Qi wireless charger here. You get it for the back, but not up front. So on lesser models, you do get it right here. I saw that. But here, it's empty. It's just, a holder, which is just a little bit odd. Oh, you do get this mini fridge here in the center, which is nice. And like many Lexus products, you can open it on the left and the right, which is just really, really nice engineered, because no matter if you're a driver or the passenger, you'll be able to access this cool box, even if you're in the rear, because there's a button back here that you can press to access that cool box as well. The box isn't bad. It's actually relatively deep, so you can have a few bottles of waters in here, snacks, whatever you really want. But let's go for a drive and feel what this Lexus LX is like on the road. Under the hood of the LX, there's no more V8. It's now replaced with a 3.4-liter V6. I know it's labeled as 3.5 everywhere, but there's 3,445 cubic centimeters, which rounds down to 3.4, not up. Anyways, the twin-turbo V6 here puts out 409 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. While the figures do beat the regular Tundra, it's actually a little bit less than the hybrid version. It's actually kind of weird. You would think Lexus would want to put the hybrid version in the LX rather than the just full-on gasoline version. I mean, it's still better fuel economy than the V8 that it replaces. I mean, I'm getting 18 liters right now. For a vehicle of this size and weight, 18 liters for 100 kilometers is pretty normal. I don't think it can be much better than that. So I think it's okay. I'm not going to argue about that. But the hybrid will be so much better than this. And it actually makes more sense. Just don't know why they didn't put it in. A lot of the rumor sites, they say that it's coming in 2024 or 2023. So maybe in a little bit, we'll get that hybrid motor and we get a little bit more oomph and a little bit more quiet and comfort. But this is already really, really quiet. I mean, I'm driving around here normally 50 odd kilometers per hour, city speeds, and the cabin is silent. Even if you're out on the highway, road noise is kept to a minimum. Even with this blocky look that this vehicle has, it's not like a Wrangler where you just get wind noise all over. You get really good door seals, and the doors, they are soft closing, which I do really like. But like there's extra padding everywhere to keep this cabin just really, really quiet. It's surprisingly quiet for what it is. I was driving my friend in the back and he was like, oh, is this on? Is this a hybrid? Just don't know it because of just how silent everything is. And it's also really comfortable. I mean, the vehicle currently is on normal mode, but I like to think normal as comfort and comfort as extra comfort because it's so soft. If you kind of wiggle the steering wheel left and right a little bit, it feels like it might even topple over. I mean, whoa, the suspension on this is actually very, very unique. It does have hydraulic suspension, not air suspension or Magna Ride as some other GM vehicles would have. But it actually is a very cool system. It actually is able to lower and raise a vehicle quite quickly. I'll show you this clip in real time of me lowering and raising the vehicle. It's surprisingly quick. However, what you have to know is, even in Sport or Sport Plus, there's really nothing sporty about this LX. I mean, it's still a 6,000 pound SUV at the end of the day. It's not designed to be thrown around the corners. There is that F Sport version, and the F Sport version does have retuned suspension for that sportier drive. Does that mean it's a better driving experience? I guess I'll have to find out whenever I can get my hands on one. But what this is about is that ultimate comfort. And I must say, this is superbly comfortable. The only thing I would say is, while it is very comfortable in here, this truck, and it is a truck because it's still a body-on-frame vehicle. And because of that, it's still a little jiggly from time to time, especially when you hit potholes or other things like that. It just, well, jiggles the cabin about a little bit, and you do hear it, it resonates. So that's the only thing I would say that's kind of a negative about the ride quality of the LX. And when you're on the highway with the adaptive cruise control and the lane keep and everything like that, it just does a really good job in staying within the lanes. I mean, yes, you still have to like drive it. It's a Toyota after all, and it's not going to be full autonomous driving. It's just not going to let you do that. But it does a very good job of still, you know, kind of doing what it needs to keep you nice and safe. And at the end, isn't that what Lexus is kind of about? Overall, I have actually really enjoyed my experience with this LX600. I mean, it's very different from the other SUVs that I've been driving. Most of them has been created around a sportier driving experience and more for the driver. This is nothing like that. It's for that one passenger in the rear. I mean, yes, you can have a passenger behind me on the driver's side, but they're not going to be as comfortable as the guy that's going to be on the passenger side. Full lounge, just, it's a much better experience there. But it's so different than everything else. And like I said, it's a bargain at $170,000 because I mean, if you're looking at this kind of luxury for that kind of backseat anyways, a Mercedes Maybach, you'll be able to get that's well over $200,000. And you can't get that on like a lot of other SUVs. So, I mean, if you really want an experience like that, this is one heck of a bargain. But if you ignore that fact, at 170, it's quite a bit. What I would suggest, if you're looking at this like a family SUV kind of thing, buy one step down. I think it's called the luxury package here in Canada. It's $140,000. And 140 just sounds quite a bit better, doesn't it? And at 140, it gives you everything that you need. It's still a very, very nice cabin. It still has all the, well, Mark Levinson audio system and everything that you need to say that it is a luxury vehicle. But you just don't get this kind of crazy back seat. And that's really it. Really sound buyer's advice here on my channel. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this with me and enjoying this amazing experience here. If you have any questions about the LX, leave in the comment section down below. Let me know what your thoughts are. And I guess we'll talk to you next week. Take care.